So today we're going to go through a nice little stretch for low back. So if you have any tightness in your low back, you're waking up, you're after a long bike ride, a run, or just general wear and tear in the body, I'm going to show you a 20-minute workout just to get things moving and feeling a little bit better. So I'm going to set my timer. We're going to start off first with a child's pose to a hip drop. So knees nice and wide, arms out in front. Gonna sit back into the hips, and then we're just going to drive those hips forward and down. And we're just going to alternate between both of these movements. So I'm going to spend about 60 to 90 seconds alternating between the two. Most important thing with this is listen to your body. If you're noticing one side or one movement is tighter than the other, spend a little longer in each position. There's no right or wrong. It's all about being responsive to your body, listening to your body, and being more in tune with your body. So I'm going to do one more of each. And relax. Make sure in this up dog we keep the shoulder blades down, we lead with tall posture. And we're breathing nice and slowly into it. For a lot of these stretches, I don't like to move fast. I like to take my time, stretch it out. Okay, so our next one we're going to come into is a hip flex or quad stretch. So you're going to step one leg in front. You're going to drive your hips forward. And while we're there, we want to tilt that pelvis forward. You should feel that increase stretch on your quadricep. Now if we want to step this one up a little further, or before I go through that, if you're having any difficulty with getting into this position, you can use a cushion or something that brings the ground up a little higher, or even makes it more comfortable for your knee. You can just pop it under that knee and hold. Alright, now I'm about halfway through. I'm going to go a little deeper. I'm going to put my left hand down and I'm going to open out through that T-spine. Maybe I can even bring that elbow in and then reach out. Again, there's so many different options here that none of them are right, none of them are wrong. It's what feels good. I know the old way we used to rush through our stretches, do 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there, and you know, that can work well. What I've noticed the older I've got, the better my body responds to longer holds, longer time in the stretches. It's not just one muscle or two muscles we're looking at stretch, it's a series of interconnected muscles, ligaments, fascia, and we want to relax into all of them and gently open a whole series, a whole network of connective tissue. Alright, then I'm going to change side. So again, you can put that something under your knee to bring the floor a little closer. We're going to come into that lunge position. You want to tilt that pelvis forward just to initially increase that stretch. And now I'm going to go a little deeper. As the muscles start to relax and open, I'm going to pop my right hand down. If my hand does go down, make sure that shoulder is packed down. I'm going to open up, stretch to the T-spine, and then bring that elbow in and reach down. And if this is out of your reach, that's okay. It can be just this, or it can be just this, whatever feels good. Another thing to be aware of is any differences we find from one side to the other. It is very common if we notice that one side is a lot tighter than the other. Very few of us are asymmetrically correct. What I'm noticing now is the longer I go into this, the deeper that elbow is coming each time. So that's telling me something is working, something is stretching. I'm going to do one more. Okay, and relax. Okay, so I'm going to give my shoulders a little bit of a breather. I'm going to come onto my back. And all I'm going to do is bring my knees, my feet hip width apart. I'm going to bring my arms out to a T. And I'm just going to let windshield wiper my knees. My legs, sorry. So just side to side. Take your time. So this is a basic level 1 stretch. If you wanted to go a little deeper, when you're in this position, you could lift the bottom foot, place it onto your knee. We can hang out 5-10 seconds. You're going to feel that pull a little deeper in the hip. Change side. Other foot comes on, and again, only if it's comfortable for you, only if it's there. Do one more each side. Just before I turn over, I'm going to bring your knees into my chest. I'm just going to give it a nice little hug, nice little roll. I'm trying to relax all the spinal extensors. Alright, and I'm going to come up onto all fours. So all I'm going to do here are some nice cat-cows. So now we're looking at some nice little bit of mobility through your back. So inhale as you lift up and stretch through your upper back. Exhale as pull the shoulders down, have a little look up and a nice little arch through your low back. Inhale, try and do it nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. So what you'll notice from the workout, as I said, we're looking at tightness to the hips, a lot of low back issues, or tightness to the low back. A lot of times our low back issues come from tightness in the hips. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. If we can do as many different ways of opening the hips, stretching the connective tissue, stretching the quads, stretching the hamstrings, stretching the glutes, that can only help take pressure and thus pain from our low back. We could take this one further if we were doing a more active workout and go into something like bird dogs, alternating or same side. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just keeping it as stretching, just stretching. I will have other ones with proper programs on. Okay, so let's work in the hamstrings. You're gonna, again, knee down. You can use a cushion, whatever's comfortable. Bringing your foot out in front. So with my right foot, I want to think of pulling the right hip back, left hip forward, and pulling my right toe back towards me. So For some people, this might be more than enough of a stretch. If we do have a little bit more flexibility, we can think of leading with tall posture, bringing that chest forward. You should feel a nice gentle pull down the back of the leg, maybe right into your low back. As you can see, I don't know where I end up on the flexibility scale. I can reach a little past my toes. For some people, it might be here. I've seen some people who can get their forehead right down to the knee, but that's not for me, and that's okay. I'm listening to my body, I'm doing what feels good for me. If you wanted to go a little deeper, what we could do is grab your toe and lift your back knee. And for my last 15 seconds, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna go for an isometric hold. You could come up and down, whatever's in your comfort level. And relax. And now I'm gonna change side. So I'm gonna bring that left leg out in front. I'm going to pull my left hip back, right hip forward, and now I'm going to lean with nice posture, or what I hope is nice posture, and keep that toe pulling back. Now the things you might want, if your balance isn't as super strong, we can use a chair, couch, whatever feels good. Okay, for my last 20 seconds on this, I'm going to leave two. I'm going to grab onto my toe. I'm going to lift that back knee up. Three, two, one, and done. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go through that set again. This time I'm going to go a little bit quicker, and now that hopefully a lot of the muscles have started to relax, I can go a little deeper into it. So we're just going to go child's pose, the hip drop. So the next step up from these two movements would be our yoga down dog, up dog. So if we're in our up dog, we could lift our knees up off the ground. And then when we transition to a down dog, knees come up, pushing back towards your quads. And it's just a little bit deeper in each of those planes. I don't think if I had went through this at the start, I would have been able to go through that full cycle. Okay, so I'm coming into my lunge position. I'm going to reach up and I'm going to bring that elbow in. And because it's my second set, I'm going to lift my back knee off the ground. Breathing into it. Last one. And change side. Again, if you're following along, work at a level that's comfortable for you. If this is too much, back down to what we did in the first round. Open up, bring that arm in and under. The main thing when we are doing our stretching, like with all activities, is we have options based on our level, and it's up to each of us every time to pick that option which works for us that day. We all know that there's hundreds of thousands of physical, psychological, emotional, and environmental factors that alter how we feel, how we operate from day to day. So the expectation, especially as we're over the age of 30, the expectation that we should be at the same level all the time or to do the same thing all the time doesn't hold through. Okay, we're coming back onto our back. We're going to do our T-spine rotations. This time I'm going to, so again, you could do the same one where we were doing this one, or we can go a little different. So this time I'm going to try lifting one leg up and then rotating across. Inhale as your leg lifts each time, exhale as it goes down. And for the purpose of this, I'm going to alternate. So I draw my belly button in, make sure that low back is on the ground, exhale and turn cross body. Give myself a little bit more room. Inhale, exhale. Ideally, this shoulder stays down on the ground. As you can see, I'm not the most flexible of people. That's why I need to work in it. Another option you could do in this, when we lift that left leg, is open into the left side first, making sure that right hip stays on the ground, and then go across the other side. Right leg open to the right side first, left hip stays down, getting a nice stretch to the inside of the leg. Adductors. Right through here, I'm really getting that stretch in the glute medius. I'm going to do one more each side. Last one. Okay, so I'm going to come back onto my cat-cows. Again, we can go level one, knees down on the ground. If we want to step it up and go a little bit more aggressive, you can plant your toes, lift your knees, and now try that cat-cow. I'm not going to spend as much time on it. It is quite a tricky one. With the addition of leaving the knees off the ground, I'm going to engage the quadriceps a little bit more and the abdominals, and that's me done for that one. We can always come back to this one. Alright, I'm going to come into that hamstring stretch, right leg in front. I'm going to go straight away into the deeper, more aggressive stretch. So from the side, I'm going to lift that back knee up and down. Also want to make sure this foot is pointed back. And again, we could use that couch or a chair for stability. And then two more. Change. I didn't expect to work up a sweat today, but I'm starting to feel this. Okay, toes back, grab onto my foot, lift that back knee, up and down. So with these videos, our body does crave movement. It is important, whether we're tight, stiff, fatigued from a workout, that we give our body what it wants. It wants to move. So moving it in a variety of planes that best suit our needs. Last one here. Okay, I'm going to do one more stretch to wrap it up. This one is the pretzel stretch. So I'm going to lie on my side. I'm going to bring my right knee, so I'm lying on my left side. I'm going to bring my right knee up. I'm going to reach with my right hand to grab my left foot. I'm going to rest my head down, and I'm having a look over that right shoulder, trying to pull that right shoulder blade down. So as you can see in this position, I got a nice stretch to that glute, to the low back, but also on my right leg, my right quadricep, my right hip flexor. And now by pulling on my right hand on my foot, I'm trying to stretch this pec and shoulder back. It's like a dishcloth. You're trying to wrangle and then unwrangle it all to relax everything into a, when we untangle, into a more comfortable postural position. Change. So I lie on my right side. My right foot is grabbed by my left hand, and my right knee comes up to 90-90. The side I can feel for sure I'm tighter in terms of my neck, in terms of my upper back. And that's okay. Just tells me I need to work on it. Okay, that's it. That's our 20-minute stretch and move. As I said, the emphasis is on trying to mobilize the hips, take pressure off your low back, get everything to the trunk moving a little bit better. Look out for the next exercise. Bye.